You want shirts? I got shirts.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the critical hit stat, the dodge stat, and why a hero's main stat is so important. We're talking about all of these together because they're either extremely similar in the case of their critical hit and the dodge stat, or they are directly related in the case of the main stat. And I'll explain what I mean by that in just a second. But before we go any further, I did grab this information from a NextersGlobal gameplay article, which you can find via the link that I've added in the description box down below. So check out that. There's a lot of great guides on there, and I'm just trying to bring more attention to those articles for new players, because there's really no direction to go take a look at those aside from a random, occasional post from Facebook that may or may not be seen by these new players. So let's start with the critical hit chance stat. And the critical hit chance stat will allow your hero to deal double damage with physical attacks only. Magical and pure damage attacks cannot critical hit, so they cannot critical hit. And again, this means double damage. So the heroes that have critical hit chance as a stat are Daredevil, Jew, Ishmael, Sebastian, Artemis, and Fox. And I've got on screen here all 6 heroes with their maxed out critical hit chance stat, and these are the mobile stats. Okay, and critical hits are calculated once the armor reduction calculation has been determined. So if your opponent's armor stat reduces your damage to 15,475, and then you critical hit, you'll double that damage, and you'll do 30,950. There's a lot of math in this video, so please go ahead and pause it. If you have any questions about anything, ask me in the comment section down below. Reach out to us on Discord, Facebook Messenger, however you want to. But a lot of math in this video. The formula to calculate the exact percentage chance of dealing a critical hit is based on your critical hit stat rating, and that is divided by your critical stat hit rating plus your opponent's main stat times 100. Okay, so for instance, Ishmael, with a critical hit chance of 7,182, attacks Astaroth with a strength stat of 13,030, and this is Facebook numbers. Then you have this formula that I have on screen, and you can see that Ishmael has a 55% chance to deal double damage or critical hit the Astaroth. All right, so to make math a little easier, make it a little easier for you to think about, for you to contextualize, if your critical hit stat is equal to your opponent's main stat, that is, if Ishmael has 7,000 critical hit and Astaroth has 7,000 strength, your critical hit percentage chance is 50%. Okay, 50%. If your crit stat and your opponent's main stat is the same, 50% chance. That'll give you kind of an idea of where you're going to be sitting at. The highest base critical hit stat on mobile is Daredevil at 8,874. Think about that as we get to the main stat later on in the video. And of course, these numbers don't account for artifact weapon buffs or other skill buffs like from Jed or Sebastian or whoever else. Okay, a little under 9,000 critical hit on Daredevil. So let's talk a little bit about the dodge stat. Dodge is the ability to completely ignore a physical attack. All right, you cannot dodge magic damage, and there are a lot of abilities that you just can't dodge based on based on the skill itself. And the list of heroes that have dodge are on screen: Heidi, King Mao, Aurora, Dante, Jet, Darkstar, Elmer, and Nebula. All of these heroes can dodge, and it's an essential part of their kit in some cases, like with Aurora and Heidi. And the dodging percentage is just like critical hits. It's there's a dodge stat that converts into a percentage, and it's the same exact formula as the critical hit formula. So Elmer's dodge rating divided by dodge rating plus opponent's main stat times 100%. So if we take Elmer with dodge stat of 6,350, who's getting hit with Astaroth with strength of 13,030 again, then we can see that based on this math, there's a 32% chance that Elmer will dodge Astaroth's physical basic attack. All right. So again, to make your life a little easier, a little simple math, if your dodge stat is equal to your opponent's main stat, then your dodge percentage chance is 50%. So if Elmer's dodge stat is 1,000 and Astaroth's main strength stat is 1,000, then there's a 50% chance that Elmer will dodge that attack. And the highest base critical hit stat on mobile is Heidi at 8,259, I believe. Of course, this doesn't account for artifact weapon buffs or other skill buffs. There might have been a dodge skin given in the last little bit that I'm not thinking of, but just for the sake of things, let's just kind of keep it around 9,000. Just like with critical hit, the highest dodge rating you can get to is under 9,000. Okay, so finally, let's wrap the video up with why your main stat is so important and the big reason why I decided to make this video. I was having a discussion with a subscriber earlier this week about which skin is the most important for Astaroth, and I feel like this is one of the most commonly asked skin questions is, which skin do I get for Astaroth? Of course, it's the Barbarian skin. At this point, it's pretty fact-based that the Barbarian skin is the first one that you should go for, and that is the plus armor skin. So we talked a little bit about the strength skin. Should I just jump everything into strength? Well, Astaroth, his main stat is strength, but a lot of his skills are based around magic attack. So strength as a main stat will give 40 health, which is important for tanks. Of course, it's important for tanks. But armor and magic defense will reduce the damage by more than the health will gain you. Okay, so that's why we suggest armor and magic defense over health whenever you're leveling up skins and glyphs and artifacts and stuff like that. So his main stat is strength. His skills are based around magic attack. Health, of course, is important. And so this subscriber said, well, should I just never level his strength skin? Should I just put it off for a long time until I've got the other ones maxed out? And then it occurred to me that not a lot of people realized the relationship between the main stat and the dodge and critical hit stats. All right, which is the reason for this video. Therefore, ipso facto, etc., etc. So the relationship will ultimately make the strength skin worth leveling up a little bit as you go. Of course, invest most of your resources into the Barbarian skin. All right. So I want you to quickly go back earlier in the video and look at the maxed mobile stats for the critical hit and dodge heroes. Check those out. And then contrast them with the knowledge that most heroes max out between 10 and 12,000 main stat. So the majority of the heroes in the game hover around 11,000 intelligence if they're intelligence based, 11,000 strength if they are strength based, and 11,000 agility if they are agility based. Now there are some that are higher, there are some that are lower. I think Heidi has the most intelligence of the game, which is weird. I think Rufus has the most strength. Maybe Ziri does. I can't remember who it is. But if you remember the easy math that I mentioned earlier, if your critical hit or dodge is equal to your opponent's main stat, then there's a 50% chance to hit or dodge. So if the highest base critical hit and dodge is less than 9,000, and on average, and again, these are maxed out mobile numbers, on average, most heroes have around 11,000 main stat, they have less than a 50% chance to dodge or critical hit those heroes. So obviously we have artifact weapon buffs and other skills to make this gap smaller, but it's because of this that I and others prefer armor penetration to a critical hit chance. So you'll see a lot more Kiras than you will Daredevils. You'll see a lot more Karks than you will see, I don't know, Artemis or Fox or whoever. Right? And also, similarly, regular damage mitigation stats like armor and magic defense are, in my opinion, always going to be superior to dodge. It takes so much dodge for it to become effective, and if you don't dodge, then you take full damage. Whereas armor and magic defense, it's less spiky, it's more smooth of a damage curve, so your healers can keep up. So yeah, I hope you found this video both interesting and educational. I'd like to see more. I'd like you to see more explainer videos like this in the future. So I'm planning on doing a bunch more. I think the next one I'm going to do is a real in-depth deep dive into Arena for new players. And let me know how you feel about these style of videos, because if you don't like them, you don't. I won't do them. But please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you are a new player, and so you don't miss any of these videos. And don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. It really helps me out a lot. It helps this video get in front of other new players just like you. I love you all, And of course, good luck dodging and critical hitting in Dominion.